Hey, what's up everyone? So I just wanted to make a quick video talking about my thoughts on the beta that just happened. Also want to talk about the balance changes and the new character that just got announced on the latest live stream from Square Enix. So talking about the beta, I thought the game itself was great. Whenever there was no lag, the game felt really smooth. A lot of the movements and just playing the game itself I thought was great. At the same time, it was pretty bare bones, but it was a beta. It wasn't a demo, it wasn't a full release, so a lot of the things that people were talking about, like wishing for more customization, more music, kind of selecting those options, teaming it with friends, things like that, are great, and those will definitely be there in the full release, but, this was a closed beta, so you kind of have to temper your expectations. One great thing that I thought Square did was the matchmaking was a huge issue that I think a lot of people noticed towards the beginning of the beta. And it was really difficult to get a match. A lot of times you'd have to close the actual game itself, restart it, because there was some sort of glitch there. So it was great to see Square Enix take initiative on that, fix that issue as quickly as possible, so that the rest of the beta, had way less issues. So that's just kind of a testament. We see them doing all these balance changes every month or every 2 months or so for the arcade. Just a testament to show that they really do care about this game. They want to see it succeed. They want to make sure that we're able to test the beta fully and get as much data from that as possible. So they are fixing things as they happen, and they do seem to care a lot about, making this a good experience for people. So it's great to see that fixed. Hopefully they will do something about the lag. There was a lot of lag issues that people were having. You would play 3 or 4 games, there'd be no problems, and then occasionally you'd have 1 or 2 where it was almost unplayable. So some of those issues could be fixed by having more players. A lot of the times during the beta, you would get matched with somebody from so many different regions because there weren't a ton of people playing the beta. So hopefully as the console's released, some of those matchmaking issues are solved, which will kind of cut down on the lag. Also, some of their netcode, they could probably work on that as well. So hopefully we'll see some of those issues resolved as well. So some other thoughts that I had whenever I was playing the beta, I was kind of fortunate to, obviously doing these commentary videos, have a good idea of how the game is played, but they didn't really have any good, starter tool for anyone to learn how to play the game. The tutorial was a bit of a joke. It wasn't interactive. It was just kind of a video. So you kind of had to just sit through that and just kind of try to remember how the buttons work. Hopefully in the full release, they'll do something like having character-specific tutorials, or at least maybe role-specific tutorials with this certain character for each one, and just kind of give you an idea of how to use the controls, but let you kind of do it interactively, so that way you kind of get a feel for how it works. And also, hopefully they'll have some place where it explains the moveset of each character, because there wasn't any spot for that in the actual game. You could press the PlayStation button and then go down, and there was an obscure spot that no one really ever told you about where it had the moveset, but there was no real explanation for, what are Yoshito's debuffs, what do each attacks do, any of the unique abilities for any of the characters, things like that. So I feel like a lot of people that were just kind of jumping in for the first time were pretty confused. And anyone that's getting the console version who haven't been keeping up with it, maybe not seen any videos, are definitely going to be confused. So hopefully they keep that in consideration, maybe put some sort of extra interactive tutorial in there to kind of make it easier for people to get into. Because a game like this, a competitive game, has a hard time thriving without new blood. You got to have new people coming in constantly for it to, be a big popular game. So we're going to want to be able to court new players like that. So we want to make sure it's an easy game for people to get into. So hopefully they think about that and make some changes to it. Like I also said earlier, this is just the beta, so maybe they've already had this in mind. So that's kind of my thoughts on the beta. Mostly positive. I thought the game was really fun. I mostly played Titus and Y'shtola, both characters I thought flowed really well for me. But a lot of different gameplay from each different character. Whenever you watch videos, you can't quite see all the differences that you do whenever you're playing, but you definitely feel it. Each character definitely felt unique, which I was worried about, but they definitely do. And people that were worried about the depth of skill, I think, had those fears quelled whenever they played, because there was definitely a learning curve when you first start. There's so many things that I haven't considered and people probably don't notice just from watching videos, like how important the stamina bar is, how much more difficult it seems to actually dashing around the map. It doesn't look like it's as big as it actually feels when you're playing. So things like that, working with your team, just minor things that you kind of take for granted when you watch other people do it, actually is more difficult than it looks. So it's definitely going to take some getting used to, and definitely seems like a game where you will be constantly improving over time, because there's so many options at any given moment in this game, whether you attack, whether you shield, whether you go to your team, whether you go to the summoning core, whether you summon, if your teammates are going to summon, etc. So there's so many different little options, so many different little things you can optimize. So I definitely think there's going to be enough depth of skill in this game for it to have a good esports scene, or a competitive scene. So that being said, like I said, really enjoyed the beta, glad they did it, and I'm really looking forward to the console release now. So on to the live stream that they just held. They released a couple of different balance changes, and all of it was catered towards marksman characters. They buffed a few marksman characters. I'll try to go through each one of them. I've got the notes translated here. And just a shout out to Hexakoto. He is the resident balance patch / new character translator that is on GameFAQs and the Dissidia Reddit. So shout outs to him as always. He does a great job of keeping us all up to date. So appreciate that. And I'm just going to kind of read down the line of what he said. So it looks like Kefka got some buffs. His Blizzaga and Thundaga both come out a couple of frames faster. Also, his Firega moves faster. The traveling portion is 25% faster. And it looks like the range of his Ultima, Hyperdrive, and Trine attacks have been increased. So a couple of buffs for Kefka. He's been one of the least popular characters picked in the arcade, so hopefully that should help him out a bit. Make him a little bit stronger. Shantoto also getting a lot of buffs here. It looks like her Freeze, Tornado, Flare, and Flood attacks are all reducing the lag after an attack, so leaving her a little bit less vulnerable after using those attacks. So that's good for her. Also, her Tornado attack now has a vacuum effect, so between that and reducing the lag after the attack should be a lot safer move. So those are the important things for Shantoto. So it looks like Y'shtola's Holy attack, which has kind of changed a little bit. It looks like the radius was increased, but the attack is a little bit slower, so just kind of changing it a little bit. You can kind of see some of the changes in this video here. That's the only thing with Y'shtola, and then the last character to receive some balance changes are Ace. His Flourish attack was sped up a little bit, and the range of it was increased, so a straight buff there. After using his Cannonball attack, looks like he can guard and dodge faster after the attack, so leaving him also a little bit less vulnerable after using that attack. The attack size of his Spiral attack was increased. His Cannon Laser, the range of that and the speed of that was also increased, similar to Flourish. Also, the radius of the attack size was slightly increased, but the threshold of where the tracking stops was reduced a little bit. So just kind of some changes there for that move. And then lastly, the Tower Laser attack, the range was increased and the speed of the attack was increased as well. So that's going to be a little bit stronger move. So just some kind of straight buffs across the board for some marksman characters, making them a little bit stronger, bringing them a little in line. I think one thing that you notice whenever you look at popularity charts is it's kind of Terra and then everyone else. So hopefully some of these buffs will change that up a little bit, bring them a little bit more in line with Terra and Emperor. So the only other important thing announced in the last live stream, we've got a new character coming into the game here. We've got Ultimecia now. Not someone that everyone was expecting. People were kind of thinking she would come in November as they're announcing a new stage, because all the other villain reveals have come with their stage. But Ultimecia's here, actually just going to be hanging out here on Narsh, and she's going to be coming into the game now. So she's going to be a marksman character. She looks like a lot of fun. She looks like a pretty strong character as well. She's got a lot of good long-range options with her attacks. Seems pretty high damage. Also, she's got some attacks that wall rush, which is kind of rare for marksman characters, so that will be interesting. Also, one unique thing about her is it seems like her attacks have a lot of area of effect whenever they attack. Her X skill has a huge range whenever it connects on somebody. It's just like a projectile. Whenever it connects, it has a huge range that can kind of suck people in and deal a lot of damage. And also, some of her other attacks have a pretty big range as well. So that'll probably be one of the big benefits about her, is just kind of being able to wreak havoc on people grouped up together if they're not careful about it. So that might be Ultimecia's niche. Her unique ability, similar to Garland's, is that after she connects with enough attacks, it's going to buff her bravery attacks, going to make them stronger, increase the range, depends on the attack. But pretty much as she connects with attacks, they get stronger. So that just seems to be a really quick, brief overview of Ultimecia. In a couple of weeks, we'll start to see some gameplay videos of her, get to see a little bit more of her in action and kind of see really where she fits in the game, what her playstyle really is, and what niche she'll fill. So that's going to be it for me, guys. I'm going to be working on another commentary video, finally getting that going again. So for next Friday, I should have a new one out. So do check that out whenever I get it posted. Alright, so thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Have a good one.